able to solve multiplication problems that have 4-digit numbers.
Awesome. Okay, and then I want to make sure you guys are kind of understanding some of the big words and vocabulary that we're talking about when we're solving multiplication problems. So the first word is multiply, and I hope everyone knows what multiplying means, right? So that it's just adding numbers repeatedly, and you could write it like this. For example, if I wrote 2 times 2, that would be multiplying numbers or adding 2 times. Okay? Then we have our next one, an array. Who can read the array definition for me, May?
Objects organized in rows and columns.
Objects organized in rows or columns. So if I had 2 times 2, I would make 2 dots on the top and then 2 on the sides, and that would show me that I'd have 4. Or if we did like 4 times 2, I would just draw 4 dots like that, and it's objects organized in rows and columns to help me figure out multiplication. Then we talked about area model yesterday. Does everybody remember what area model is? Okay, Walter, go ahead. So our area model is a rectangle used to solve multiplication problems. So remember we drew our rectangle and we pretended like there were things in there. And if we did 12 times 3, I would split this into 10 and 2 to make it easier. And then a 3 right there. 10 times 3 would be 30. 3 times 2 would be 6. And then I could add those together, 30 plus 6. Okay? Now this is another one, another vocabulary word or phrase that we're going to be talking about. It's called partial products. Does anybody have any idea what partial products are? Addie?
It's kind of like if you split the area model and there's one answer and another one. One of them is the partial.
Yeah. So I'm going to show you guys an example of what a partial product would be. Because our definition right here, it says multiplying each digit of a number with each digit of another number, where each digit keeps its place value. So if I were to write 12 times 3 like this, but I didn't know what that was right off the bat, Lakin, I could go like this. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 1, but it's not just a 1. What is that number representing right there? Ephraim, go ahead. What is that 1 representing? Only Addie knows? Isaac?
30.
Well, this 1 isn't just a 1, it's a 10. It's a 10. So I do 3 times 10 is 30. See how I did one digit and then I did the other? And then I could add them up and it would be 36. So that's how you do partial products. All right? Okay. So, does anybody have any questions about those vocabulary words? I just want to make sure you guys have heard those words and you're starting to understand. Like if I say, solve with an area model, you would know to draw a box. If I said, solve with partial products, you would write it out and start solving with the different digits with the place value. So we'll practice these and make sure we get them. Okay, anybody have any questions? Okay, all right, let's move on to our next slide. Maybe. Okay. Thank you. All right. Okay, everybody write down 48 times 6 on your board. Since we already practiced our area models yesterday, let's go ahead and practice. That needs to go in your backpack. We should practice our partial products. Okay? So does anybody, I explained it a little bit, but how do we start our partial products? Walter?
You write 48 down.
48. And then what? Does anybody else remember? Me?
Do you do times?
Yep, you do 6 underneath it and times like that. Okay? Now, what are we going to do? Only Walter and May were paying attention? Oh, I knew most of you were paying attention. Ivy?
I think you done 8 and 6.
So first we're going to start with the ones place. Up here. So 6 times 8. Does anybody know what that is? Raise your hand. Cora?
48.
48. Okay, so we would write 48. 8 times 6 is 48? Okay, then what do we do next? Addie?
You multiply the 4 and the 6, which 40 is, the value of it is 40, so you multiply 40.
Yeah, so we can't just do 6 times 4. We have to do 6 times 40 because remember that's in the tens place. It's a 40, not just a 4. So what's 40 times 6, Addie?
240.
What?
240.
240. How did you know that?
Because 4 times 6 is 24, and I added this.
She added a 0. So guys, when we're multiplying by things that have zeros in them, we can just times it. We can say, okay, what's 4 times 6? That's 24. And then we can bring that 0 down. So 240. 24, bring that 0 down. Okay? It's the same as multiplying by 10. If you did 10 times 6, who can tell me what 6 times 1 is? Everybody's hand should be raised. What's 6 times 1, Riker?
6 times 1 is
6 times 1 is 6. But since we have that 0 right here, we need to bring that 0 down.
6.
60. So it's the same when we're multiplying with any other number. What if I did this, you guys? Could you solve 500 times 6?
Yes. Yeah.
What would you need to do? Ivy.
Times the 5 and 6 and
Okay. So what's 6 times 5?
30.
30. How many zeros do I have?
2.
2. So I need to bring both of those down. My answer would be 3,000. Do you see how easy that is when we split it up by place value? Because 6 times 48 seems very daunting. When I look at that, I freak out for a second and I say, I don't know how to do that. But you guys know how to do it because we can use our area models and we can use partial products. Walter?
Or you can just divide it.
You could, what do you mean divide it?
You could go 48 divided by 6.
But we're trying to find 48 times 6. So how would that work?
Like, you can write 48 times 6, but then do divided.
But why would you divide if you're multiplying? You don't know? Abby?
You could do the blank and then divide it by 6, which is 48.
Oh, okay. So Addie just said something divided by 6 equals 48. Is that what you were thinking, Walter? So you could write an equation like this to help you also figure it out? Okay. Awesome. Does anybody have any other questions or comments about this? Okay, let's do the next problem using partial products together. And then I want you guys to do it on your own for the next one. Okay? So let's do it together on this next one, and then after that you'll do it on your own. Okay. 352 times 8. I'm going to use popsicle sticks and have some people help us. If you don't know, that's okay, and you can call on a friend. Callie, what's our first step?
Right. 3.
I want everybody to follow along on their board so that you understand how to do partial products. Okay, get out a marker. If you don't have a marker, then let me know. Callie?
352 and on the bottom right times 8.
Okay, that's our first step. Everyone should have that written down on their board. Okay. Lakin, what's our next step?
You have to multiply them.
Okay, what do you multiply first? Lakin?
The 2.
The 2. What do we multiply it by?
8.
So what's 8 times 2?
No, it's 16.
It's 16. So I'm just going to write my 16 down so I remember that. Okay, I already did 8 times 2. Make sure you're following along. Okay, go ahead and... All right. Next we have Ivy. What would we need to do next?
Do you times the 5 with the 8?
Okay, you look at the 5 next, so you're going to do 5 times 8. But what is that really? Is it just a 5?
No, 50 times 8.
50 times 8. So do you know what 50 times 8 is, Ivy?
Yes. Well, 5 and 8 is
5
40.
times, 5 times 8 is 40.
And then you add the zeros.
Love it. She was able to figure that out so easily, even though it was a big number. So I would have to write 400 down here because 8 times 50 is 400. Okay, make sure you are ready to answer. Talmadge is not here. May, what do we need to do next?
Next, you do the 3 times 8
3 times 8?
with 300.
It's a 300 times 8.
Which I solved by just like which is 3 times 8 is 24, and then you just add 2 zeros.
3 times 8 is 24. And then you added 2 zeros, you said? Okay. So, Addie, what number did we get? 300 times 8?
Is 2,400.
2,400. Are we done, you guys?
No.
Who can tell me what we need to do? Ephraim.
We need to add those.
You need to add them to get the answer. Okay, you guys call out what's 6 plus 0 plus 0?
6.
What's 1 plus 0 plus 0?
1.
What's 4 plus 4?
8.
What's 2 plus nothing?
2.
Okay, so raise of hands. What's 352 times 8? Colton.
It is 2,860.
Okay, show me on your chest with a thumbs up, thumbs in the middle, thumbs down if you're ready to do a partial product on your own. Show me on your chest so I can see how everyone's feeling. Okay, show me on your chest how you're feeling. Okay, awesome. Okay, guys, I want you to start trying this next one on your own using partial products. If you get them early, I want you to also draw an area model to solve it. Okay? Let's practice and see. I'll be coming around and helping people out. If you get stuck, raise your hand. Okay, start figuring out how to do this with partial products.